everyone, and welcome to Stories and Scribes. My name is Jemima, aka Jade, and I'm so happy to be here bringing you what I love to do: read books, Christian fiction books, and talk about it. And I think I've said before and over again that one of the things I really love about reading Christian fiction books and doing Stories and Scribes is that I get to share with you what I learned, what I love, get to swoon over some books, get to share the joys of reading and how it has edified me in the process and in the course of reading the books. And I just love being here, and I hope you love watching me as well. And if you do, I hope you subscribed, I hope you liked any of the videos that you've watched. I hope you have turned on your notification bell so that when more videos drop, you're notified that a new video has come. And tell your friends, tell your family, your loved ones, your book sisters, your book brothers, anyone who cares to listen to you, that Stories and Scribes is somewhere they have to be. So I started a series about the Montana Marshall brothers, children, because there are 5 brothers and 1 sister, 4 brothers and 1 sister. And I'm going to continue in this episode. So we talked about Knox, so we're on to Tate. And if you had read Susan Warren's book on the Montana Marshalls, you know that Tate was very much featured in Knox. And we're going to talk about him and his own story in today's episode. So Tate is a bodyguard or a security expert, and he, amongst his brothers, went on a war. So he was what they call a rancher, and a rancher, I think, in the military, he still ranks among the military outfits that are in America. So we have the Marines, we have the SEAL, we have the Rangers. So for people that watch NCSI and you watch FBI and watch all those, crime series, we have an idea of what we're talking about. So he was a rancher, and he had a Purple Heart. That means he was heroic, and he had an experience while he was, a rancher in Afghanistan, and all of those war-torn countries. And he came back and he took on the job as a security personnel and went first to Vegas and had a stint there. Only God knows, who know what happened. Then he now came back home. And I think that everyone was happy because you know how people that are in the military or people that, in any of those parastatals, when they go off to war, they always come back with PTSD, which is something, that they have to deal with for most of their lives, especially after returning from war. And Tate was not any different. He was classic in the throwing of tantrums in exhibiting his PTSD. And while his mom and brothers were worried, he also took off to Vegas, got himself into trouble, and came back home. However, his family did not know the extent of trouble that he was in. Well, as I've talked ladies, let's read the synopsis before we continue. So, personal security guard Tate Marshall has always been the family troublemaker. Maybe it's his propensity to get entangled in other people's problems. Now, he's in over his head because he's desperately in love with the woman he's tasked to protect, the beautiful Gloria Jackson, daughter of a U.S. Senator and presidential hopeful Reba Jackson. A member of a country band, the Yankee Belles, Glo was targeted in a recent terrorist attack designed to deter her mom from running, and Tate will do anything to keep her safe, even if it means letting her go. Stubborn and brave Glo isn't about to hide from threats, at least the kind that won't cost her heart. She already paid a terrible price for the war on terror, and she refused to fall for a man who might die, especially because of her. As the presidential campaign heats up and the threats deepen, so does the attraction between Tate and Glo. But what it will cost Tate to keep her alive? And what will Glo do to keep from losing another man she loves? Okay, so I think that when I read this, I really liked it. Well, you all know who I am when it comes to books like this. And I think why I appreciated Susan Warren's Montana Marshall series was because she also infused a bit of investigation, thriller into it that just spiced up everything. And you know how it is now, when there is love mixed with danger, and it has a way of combusting quite quickly. Okay, so if you watched the video where I started the Montana Marshalls and we talked about Knox, you also remember that when there was the explosion at the MBRX fair, um, they thought it was targeted towards Kelsey. But upon further investigation, they found out that Gloria Jackson, the US Senator's daughter, was actually the target. And Tate had already become their personal bodyguard, their personal security. And so he had followed them, touring around, and, he was still investigating and all of that. I know that Tate and Glo had become close, and you know how it is when you're on the road touring and you feel this thing with someone. Okay. So, but the thing is, Gloria had lost someone. She had a fiance that went off to war and died in Afghanistan. And she was talking to herself and saying that, how would I fall in love with somebody else who is a personal security, he has gone to Afghanistan and probably has a lot of trouble because trouble is always following him? How would I put myself in that situation, to go back, to that kind of heartbreak and that kind of waiting for the telephone calls and all of that? And she was not ready to give her heart to that kind of situation. Okay, well, fast forward though, after they've done investigation and they were on tour, they finished the tour, they had to stop the tour because of the bomb threat. Tate took Glo, Kelsey to their farmhouse, their ranch. I know there it was another form of meeting with family. I know how when you're in a community, a supportive community, how love just comes out, it just oozes out, it just draws out from those kind of places. And that's what Glo felt. And Glo had her own struggles because Glo was a twin and her other sister was a special needs child, and she was deteriorating fast and died even after a liver transplant. So Glo had that guilt already on her because her mom devoted her time, and that was the agenda she was pushing even in her campaigns, how special needs children must be included into society and made their lives made very, very bearable for them to even live, amongst other people. And so Glo had that guilt that she shouldn't have been the one to leave. Her sister shouldn't have died. Then she had a fiance that died. So it was like death was around her, and like everybody she loved just happened to die. And she had to deal with that, and deal with the threat, and deal with the fact that she was falling in love with Tate, and she didn't want that to happen. So fast forward, they had a gig in Vegas, and Tate went there with her as their bodyguard. Yeah. So one of the times when they were in their room, Tate was attacked by a Russian mobster. And in that attack, Glo was affected because when she came out to help Tate, the mobster, that kind of thing, elbowed her, and she had a wound on her face, her ribs were broken and all of that. And so when her mom, she is a senator now, pulled all strings to make sure that this girl got the best care and wanted that it's because of you that my daughter is in this trouble. I don't want to ever see you close to her again. And while he was being fired, he was also overhearing the fact that it was because of the US senator that those attacks were happening. So he quickly took advantage of it, and I told him that, see, I have a sister that works in the CIA and I can get information from you. And the mother was like, that is valuable information that you just mentioned, and it could be an asset to me. But I'm going to give you this job on one condition. You have nothing to do with my daughter. You will bodyguard her, you will be part of the team, the security team that is assigned to me as a US senator and for my daughter, but you are in no way to have any interaction with her romantically or even personally. And Tate was like, well, he gave his honor that he will protect Glo and until this whole thing has been sorted out. And as you know it now, it's always his bodyguard and the person you're protecting, there's always that chemistry. And they tried in the beginning because Gloria now met this guy that used to be her very good friend when they were growing up. You know how you have this friend that has always been your buddy, has always been your friend, together is a stan for your music. And obviously you know that he has some romantic interest with you. But Glo didn't give him much thought. But after they've grown up and he's now looking like a buff, he's now a lobbyist, he's also he's working on her mother's campaign, that kind of thing. So he just fit into the perfect world that Glo was supposed to appreciate, and which she didn't. And you know how they had to get together, and how their her mom was pushing her to, unite with the guy so that, they have that public front, that public figure front, that everybody would love to have, that kind of daughter of the U.S. senator dating the son of another U.S. senator, that kind of thing. It was just like a perfect arrangement. But guess what? Tate was behind the background. And every time they go on a date, every time the guy would kiss her, every time the guy would buy her food, Tate would just be boiling, that kind of thing. Just be boiling. But what can he do? There's nothing he can do. Until one day, when the guy was now trying to insist on Glo going back to his place. And at that particular party where they went to, Glo was not having it, because when he was interacting with people, he was already assuming things were even further than they had been. Okay, yeah, they were dating, yeah, they were going out and all, but they had not established what their relationship was. And so it's like a donors meeting, and every time he was introducing Glo, he was like, this is my girlfriend, soon to be wife, that kind of thing. And Glo was like, we've not come to that point where this discussion has been had, or this is what I want. What do you know I want? Who do you know I am? And then Tate now declared his love. And that was another trouble, because you declare his love, you violate the terms of the contract on which you are providing security for. Anyways, while they were still investigating, they discovered that it was a terrorist group that was after Glo's mom. And Tate was, with the help of his sister, a CIA agent, Ruby Jane, he was able to find out who exactly was, and found out that the people involved were ex-military men, so they were trained in, the use of IEDs, bombs, sniper shooters, that kind of cool things, those kind of things. And as they were trying to find out who was involved and how to they discovered something. Do you know that the person that really was involved in causing, one, Tate to be ambushed when he went to Vegas, two, the bomb explosion, and all of these things, was the same guy that was hanging out with Glo? Do you understand? Like, it's a classic case of the enemy, the enemies in your household. It's a very classic case of it. And guess what? He had already arranged with those ex-military men to bomb Gloria's mom when she was announcing her candidacy for vice president, because she had already merged with his father. So I was like, how can you not know? And you know how it is, because he was the campaign manager, he already knew step by step what to do, where they were going, places they will be. He had access to everything. So imagine having access to everything just to destroy and kill somebody's, not just career, but their entire lives. And Tate was able to find that. And now how it is, when you find it, you get together, you get the girl, you get endorsement for the president. And I think that in Tate's story, one thing I really, really appreciated was the fact that what he was seeking for, he already had, but he could not recognize it because he felt that he was always looking for trouble. What was Tate's problem? Tate was not able to accept the fact that he was a hero, regardless of what had happened. So in Afghanistan, something happened, and which had skewed his thinking and made him feel like he didn't deserve any status of hero, the status of a hero. When he was ambushed, he got a bad intel. He was ambushed, and all his crew members died, except for him and one other buddy of his. And he carried the guilt that if he had probably been more careful, if he had probably queried the intel further, that they wouldn't have died. So he was not able to receive the honor for which he was awarded because of his heroic act. By saving himself and his other buddy, and they slept through rubbles for 3 days and all of that. And I think that's it. And one of the things I discovered in the Tate Marshall series, and as we continue discussing the books, we'll talk about it, was how their father was a standard for them. And because he felt that he couldn't measure up to what his father would have thought him to be, that he was not good enough, that he didn't deserve it. He felt that he went off to be a ranger just because he was pissed off with his father, and he couldn't measure up to the state of what his father was. But the thing is, his father didn't want him to measure up to his standards. His father just wanted him to be the best at what he was. And when he came to realize, by talking to his mother and talking to his siblings, he realized that, wow, this thing that I've been carrying, this disappointment that I've been carrying, is just all in my head, because all my dad wanted was that I should be the best at who I am and what I was doing, understand my motive and correct it as well. So Tate's problem was that he was not able to understand why he was inclined to run into trouble. So it was a classic case of when there is trouble, instead of running away from trouble, he was always running towards trouble because he knew he could solve it. So what is that gift you have? What is that natural inclination that you find probably weird? You know, what is that thing that it's not normal, like it doesn't seem normal to other people, but it's so clear to you that this is what I do, this is what I love, this is my natural inclination to doing things. My darling, that is your superpower. And instead of despising it or allow people to talk you down about what you are naturally inclined to do, why not understand that that is what God has given you as your superpower? That's what you can use to help people, to bless people. When you groom it, when you grow it, when you nourish it, when you cherish it, when you just bring out the beauty of it. I'm a superhero buff, and you discover that every superhero that you've ever watched always started out as despising what they had, the gift they had, the talent they had. Oh, I'm too tall. Oh, I'm too strong. Oh, I can catch this. Oh, it's sticky and it's yucky and all of that. But when you see, when they discovered purpose to the superpowers they had, it now became a thing of beauty. Find purpose to that superpower that God has given you, that natural inclination. What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What drives you towards something, or what repels you towards something? All these things are indication of the things and the purpose for which God has brought you upon the earth. It's just good to not despise it anymore. Look at it, embrace it, love it. Because loving it is loving yourself. Except for things that are bad, you know, that kind of thing. No, but the things that, you know, are natural to you, you know, just love it, just embrace it, and use it to help people. Use it to better the lives of others. Use it to better your life. Use it to let it be the advantage that you have over other people. And when I say advantage, not that it's necessarily bad, but that makes that thing that makes you unique in yourself. Embrace it. Embracing it is like embracing who you are. And don't let anyone rubbish it or despise it. If that is who you are, love yourself for it and love what it is that makes you you. All right, I hope you enjoyed the story Tate and Glo, and you know now they lived happily ever after. Happily ever after. Yeah, so I really enjoyed the Montana series. I have Ford, I have Ruby Jane. Those two, I'm going to talk about them. Ford was really, really good. Ruby Jane, we'll talk about her in another video. But make sure you always stay tuned to Stories and Scribes. And I enjoyed having this time with you. Thank you. God bless you. Peace out.